Remember back in January when I challenged everyone to go ahead and write that book that's been in your heart, the book that you've been wanting to write? Well, it's April now, so how are you doing with that book? Welcome to the Julia Monte channel. If we're just meeting, I am Julia Monte. I'm a women's fiction author, and today what we're going to be talking about is that book that you probably still haven't started. So my question to you is, why haven't you started it? Or why aren't you making progress with your book? We're going to talk about the 3 excuses that most people make when they haven't started or have that book in their heart that they want to write, but then they still put it off just month after month, year after year, and they don't get the book written. So why is that? One of the excuses that people make is that they're waiting for the right time, right? So I'm waiting until all this COVID stuff is over. I am waiting until my kids go back to school. I'm waiting until I'm not working. I'm waiting for whatever to happen, right? So there are all these reasons why people decide to just wait, and they're saying that this just isn't the right time, right? The right time is going to be a little later, when the kids get a little older, when this happens, when that happens. The problem with that is, to be honest, there is no perfect time to write your book. The perfect time is really right now, and the reason for that is that things come up all the time. So back when I was a 19-year-old kid, I was living in Long Beach with my parents. So my brother and I shared one room. So they rented this little place just sort of as a part-time place, but this is what we had. So my brother and I slept in, shared that bedroom, and it was a normal sized bedroom. So here he is, a teenage, boy, and here I am, a 19-year-old kid. And I had my college classes. I had the writing that I was starting to do, right? That I was thinking I could write a book. And what happened was I got frustrated, right? So I was trying to study, I was trying to write, and I didn't have a place. I didn't have a desk. I didn't have a place to do it. So either I stayed in college, or when I came home, I had to write somewhere. So we had this nice long closet. And so I just went in there one day and I said, you know what, I'm just moving this stuff. So I pushed all the clothes out of the way, and I just set up this like little box and a little light up there. And it's like, this is where I'm going to write. I'm going to write here. I'm going to take my little typewriter at the time, because we didn't even have a computer, and I'm going to start writing my story here. So I think back now and I think, oh my God, that was terrible, and then later on I moved out and I had roommates as I was going through college, and that's chaos, right? Because everybody's doing their own thing. Everybody's walking in and out, whenever their schedule is, whenever they're working and going to classes, doing whatever. And that was another small, apartment, and I shared a room with someone. So that wasn't ideal either. But now I think back and I think, wow, what would I give to just have, just have college classes to take, and then just be able to write afterwards. Any time, I would have all this unlimited time. Well, it wasn't true. I really didn't have unlimited time then, and I don't have unlimited time now. So there is no perfect time. And so if you keep waiting, things happen. You get more and more and more and more of life stuff that gets piled on top of you. And then you realize that, you waited for the kids to leave. Well, now there's other things that are happening. Now there's other stuff that you need to take care of. So don't wait for the perfect time, because the perfect time just isn't going to come. You have to fit writing into your life. It has to become part of your life. Otherwise, you're not going to get it done, and you're just going to keep waiting for that perfect opportunity that just isn't going to arrive. Okay, something else that tends to stop people is kind of another cliche. And these are just, I don't know if they're cliches or what they are, but they're just things that people tell themselves. And it's that it's too late for me, right? I'm too old. I should have started writing back when I was in college. I should have started writing at a different time. It's too late because now I have this job that demands so much of my time. So I don't really have time for it. It's just too late for me. So it's never too late for you to start. Okay. It's always, people have started writing, in their 40s, in their 50s. In fact, the writer of The Lord of the Rings started that series when he was 45 years old. So, by the time he finished the last book, how old was he? But he started then. So what if he had decided that he was too old and he didn't, and never started because he thought, well, I'm 45 and my whole it's too late for me, right? But thank God he didn't think that. Okay, and I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Brokeback Mountain. So that author was Annie Proulx, and she wrote her first book, which was, well, I don't know if it's her first book. It was the first book she published was Postcards. And she was, let me check that to make sure I'm correct, 57 years old when she wrote that book. She went on then to write Brokeback Mountain, which was actually a short story. And then she ended up getting all types of awards. She won all kinds of things for, it was she won the Faulkner Award, she won a Pulitzer Prize, and she won the U.S. National Book Award. All after 57 years old. So don't think about age. Don't think about anything, right? Anything where you're thinking it's too late. So it's not always age. Sometimes people just think it's too late because I already have a full-time career now. How can I go back to doing this? And people have written, I've known authors that started that were like, I know this one lady that I met once, she was working at, I wasn't NASA, but it was some aeronautics place. And, she had this like a demanding career, but she decided to write. So she wrote, right? There's people that start at any time, at any age. So don't ever think it's too late. You can always learn. You can always get into something new, whether it's writing or any other dream that you have, right? It's never too late to start. Okay, something else that people tend to say is that they think that it's just selfish, right? This is just a silly dream that I have. To be a writer, and it's just probably a selfish dream, and to spend time instead of being with my kids or instead of being with my friends or instead of doing something to help society, I'm just sitting in my house writing, and that's just a selfish dream. And it's actually the opposite is true. So if this is really a dream, this is really something that you want to accomplish, you have to do it because you're going to be a much better person. You're going to be a much happier person. You're going to be, feel better mentally, spiritually, because you are doing something that's important to you, that you're growing as a person. If you just put aside that because you think it's selfish. And then honestly, it's not selfish. No writer really writes for themselves, right? They write a story that they think is going to impact somebody else. So maybe it's going to entertain somebody. Maybe it's going to change somebody's life just because of the story that you have told or the things that you've gone through in your life that you're writing into a memoir, writing into a fictional story. So why is that selfish, right? You're sharing something with someone, and if you never write it, maybe that's selfish because you're not impacting other people that could benefit from your story. Maybe your own family, your own kids that, yeah, you might, take a few hours for yourself to write and not be with them then, but maybe eventually they will get something out of what you have written. So you can put that aside. It's not true. Okay, so now that we've talked about all the reasons why you might be putting it aside or might not be doing the writing that you should be doing, let's talk about how you can start. Okay, so it's not too late, right? So it's not January, it's April, still not too late. You can still get that book written this year. So what do? First thing is you need to take action now. You need to do something now. Outline your story. Start writing a page every day. Start doing something. Put aside a little bit of time and start getting it written. So start taking some action. What happens when you take action, when you start doing something, whatever it may be. So of course I'm talking about writing, but you might have other dreams too, or other things that you want to do. If you take a little action, then it starts to kind of snowball, right? Because as your story starts to grow, as you start seeing the pages, as your characters start to develop, you get excited and inspired by that story and by your progress. And then you're really looking forward to doing it, and you're getting more and more and more and more done. So take action. First thing is start doing something today. The second thing is to anticipate obstacles, because there are going to be things that are going to get in your way. No day flows well the way you think it's going to flow, right? So don't get discouraged. As soon as you commit to writing every single day, to writing 1 page a day, something's going to happen. You're going to have a huge snowstorm. You're going to have, your dog's going to need something. Your dog's going to get, sprayed by a skunk, and you're going to have to end up using that hour of writing to wash your dog. You're going to have, something's going to happen, right? And it's kind of weird how that happens. And you kind of feel like this is like the universe testing me to see if I'm really serious about doing what I said I'm going to be doing. So do it anyways. If something happens, yeah, you might want to put that day aside, but get right back to it, right? Or, the electricity goes out. You have a huge storm, get something, get a flashlight, write manually, do something so that you're continuing to do it. Don't put it aside again, because then what's going to start to happen is your mind's going to tell you, well, see, you really weren't serious about that anyways. It really is silly. It really is too late. Things are really getting in the way. You start to tell yourself the same old stories again and again and again. So don't do that. Show yourself that, no, I'm going to get this done every day, no matter what. Okay, even if there's obstacles, if something is really, really challenging, something really terrible happens, I'm going to get back to it the next day. I'm not going to do it today, but I'm going to get back to it the next day. Okay. The third thing is to be patient with yourself. So let's say you start writing and you look at what you've produced and you think, oh my God, this is horrible. Who's going to want to read this? I'm not, this is not good. Be patient with yourself. Don't compare yourself to somebody who's been writing for years, a multi-published author. Okay, we're all guilty of that. I'll write something and then I'll read an author that I really love or admire, and I'll think, oh boy, if only I could write like this. My writing is so bad compared to this author. And true or not, who knows, right? But it doesn't matter, because that author is how many years ahead of me. Even though I've been writing for years, if I look at what somebody else has produced, whether in years or in just the number of books, then there's a reason, right, why that author might be better than I am. And that's okay, because you're not really competing against other writers. You're competing against yourself. So you're looking at, like, what am I writing today? And then maybe by the time you get to the end of that book, you're writing much better. Okay. And then the next book, you're writing better than that. So just be patient. Don't expect everything to be perfect. The point is to start writing, to get that first book written. So by December, you have your book written, and you can go back and edit after that. And that's, part of the process as well. It's just to go back and edit and make it better, make it stronger, add more descriptions, add more details, whatever it is you need to add to make your book better. But the whole point is, if you want to live this life of being a writer, being an author, then there's only one way to do it. And that's just to do it, right? Just to sit there and write the pages and get the book written. So remember the 3 things: take action, anticipate some obstacles and get through those obstacles, and be patient with yourself, and then start writing. I'll see you again next week.